Happy New Year to all my subscribers out there. Thanks for tuning in to this regular programming on the state of current events and politics in Chicago. I'm here in my big Snuggie because it is very cold. But yeah, let's get into it. So what's happening in Chicago? The big item is CTU, CPS negotiations on the CTU contract. The news from the last couple of weeks was that the CPS board chose to fire its CEO because the CEO didn't want to take on a very high interest short-term loan to fund what the CTU wanted. The former board of the CPS resigned in protest, basically in support of the CPS CEO, and the mayor then put in place a different board. That board then fired the CPS CEO in the latter part of 2024. But they let him keep working essentially through June. And he promptly turned around and filed a restraining order against those CPS board members so that they couldn't be involved in the CTU contract negotiations. So that's where we're at right now. In a couple of weeks, new CPS board members will be sworn in because the city of Chicago just voted for new board members. So it's kind of a shit show in terms of the negotiation. It's too early to say that there's going to be a strike or anything like that, but it's not on a good path at the moment. Good news is that the Bureau of Labor Statistics came out with its annual employment numbers, and the city of Chicago has the most number of employed workers it has had in the history of the data going back to 1990. So that is very good. Also good economic news is that there were a handful of approvals of commercial to residential conversions in the Loop and River North over the last week or two. That's really good because the Loop has been hollowed out since the pandemic, since their companies have stopped their leases because they don't have their workers coming in. When that happens, the tax funds of the city go way down because a lot of our tax funds are funded by corporations. And so it's much harder for us to fund the things that we want as a city. So it's good to see that empty commercial real estate is getting converted to residential real estate. So there will be people there paying rent, but also paying taxes so that we can continue doing things we want as a city, and having energy in those areas in the Loop and River North so they don't feel hollowed out. So that's also good news. Also good news is that the University of Chicago Crime Lab came out with its annual report on crime in the city, and pretty much every crime they track is down since last year. Most is still significantly up post-pandemic, so since 2019, but shooting homicides specifically, are approaching their 2019 level. So give it another year or two and we'll get there. So that's good news, trending in the right direction. Also good economic news is that Bally's Casino, which is going to put a giant casino up in River North on the river and build up the Riverwalk, and they put up a hotel and all that, is going to file an IPO to fund all of that. So I think they've got the approvals now that they need, and now they just need funding to move forward with it. So they're currently demolishing the Tribune building that's on that site. You may drive by and see half a building there. They paused that demolition for a bit because parts of the building fell into the river, but that'll probably soon be gone, and we may soon have actual construction on that site and have a casino and a Riverwalk, more of a Riverwalk right in our backyard. So that's more good news, good sign for the city. On the CTA front, the news from this week, the drama was that they chose, for whatever reason, to stop tweeting about alerts, late train alerts and canceled trains and things like that. And there was a giant uproar because a lot of people use that to, plan their day and know if their train's going to be on time. And the CTA chose to respond to that backlash by leaving Twitter altogether, even their normal account. So that's the state of the CTA. There's an account I follow called Is Dorval Carter Fired Yet? Dorval Carter is the CEO of CTA, and they tweeted today that he has not, in fact, been fired yet. So that's CTA news. Lastly, a report came out towards the end of the year showing that Chicago's pension debt in 2024 was 22.4% of the Chicago local city budget funds, meaning that basically a quarter of all the funds that we have as a city to do stuff with just go towards pensions, can't actually be used on things, on services or anything for us. So I probably shouldn't have ended this video on a low point, but those are all the big items from this week. As I know it, thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you next week.